Alrighty, yo, what is up, Knights? Agent Freak here, back with some more DFO Rush. This time on my female ranger. And just a shout out to Luna Cygnus here in my guild right now. But anyway, guys, we are going to be playing the female ranger, and I got a lot to talk about. As you guys can see, we're rocking a really cool costume right now. You can get this in the basic avatar costumes shop, but then we're also rocking a lot of Halidom pieces. We'll talk about this and why I decided, you know, everything is a Halidom right now, and the only thing left I actually want to get is the magic stone. So to do that, we're going to need to farm a lot of meteors, and I think a pretty good place to farm it. Personally, I don't know what's the most efficient, honestly, but I do think that, personally, I like metal brachium to farm this, and we're going to go ahead and go into master difficulty now, guys. Now, a lot of things to talk about this class, guys. I gotta say, I really like it, first and foremost, and I kind of regret, not making this class a whole lot sooner, actually. It kind of, you know, one goal that I had, and I've talked about this before, but one goal that I had, you know, and now is, the goal keeps changing, I keep moving the goalpost, but the goal was to have one of each subclass initially. Now it's about one of every class in the game. We're getting pretty close to finishing that, but my goal initially was one of each subclass, and to do that for the female gunners, I made a female launcher. I don't know, I was being adventurous or something. Decided to make a female launcher, and I regret that. That's one thing I regret. I kind of wish I made this character instead, because this character is a whole lot more like my playstyle, and I knew, you know, launcher, I knew what I was getting into, and I knew I wouldn't like it as much, and this class is a lot more like my playstyle, so that's kind of the one thing I have a little bit of regret on that. But anyway, guys, let's talk about the class a little bit. This class is awesome. It has a perfect balance of, you know, a bunch of melee skills, which I love. I love getting people's faces. But then also has a pretty good, decent range of AoE mid-range type skills too, which I think I can get behind too, you know. As long as I had the good close range skills, and this class has it, it's really nice. And, you know, I kind of like that that dual nature. Like, okay, I can do, at least still do the close range stuff I'm more used to with my other characters. Gonna have to compensate for the build, because a lot of people are gonna just shit on the build. Why do you have a headshot and stuff like that? I don't care. But anyway, this class has a lot of suite of skills that will, you know, kind of, I think the best way to put it is just like wrangle people. You know, she can really manipulate groups of enemies, especially close range like this. You know, taking out people with my moving headshot here. I'm forgetting to turn on all my buffs here. One thing I should be using is the silver bolts, but silver bullets. Yeah, this class has some great skills up close, which I'm using right now, kind of spamming. A lot of burst skill, you can tell right now. We got a little Halidom converter, which is really nice. Don't really need it for anything now, but would have been nice a little while ago. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of how the gameplay goes with this class, and just kind of showing off how it usually plays out. But you know, talking about the gear thing a little bit, because I do want to make the point, if you are liking how this class is looking and you want to make one yourself, just know that the gear is going to be something that, you know, maybe not to the same extent as, like, actually I will say to about the same extent, ranger classes, whether it be female and especially the ranger or the male version, you're gonna have some serious problems with dishing out a lot of damage if you're not sufficiently geared. And you can tell, like, a full Halidom set, 2 different sets and a Halidom weapon, you're getting a lot of just raw stats right there, which, you know, before, as well as leveling, it was okay to level without it, but, you know, definitely it helps a lot. You know, I'm only doing master difficulty, and you can tell that, you know, my damage is not phenomenal for the gear that I have. Other classes that I've played, you know, maybe would have been able to do this a lot better, but you can see a really cool moving shot right there. Actually, that's I keep using the moving shot, but it's buffed up by another skill that I have, the chain powder. This class kind of boasts a few kind of steroid buffs. The chain powder, obviously, I've been using a couple times here, will buff up 3 of my skills right now: the gunblade dance, the moving shot, which is what I'm mostly using it for, and then as well as the death hawk, which I personally don't really like using that much, but you guys will tell me how wrong I am about how great the death hawk is. But use death hawk right here. Interesting skill, because it allows you to cast skills while it's kind of boomeranging around. But yeah, I don't like it that much. Instead, I get the headshots. But yeah, this class focuses, let me just talk a little bit, kind of the differences. This class main call to fame right here, you can see all of my revolvers, my guns had this little saw blade on it. All of your kit revolves around that pretty nicely too, I gotta say. You can tell that a lot of you have like cool new animations right here. You can see I have a dash attack animation. I can kind of maneuver with those things. I have different things that I can use in midair. For instance, I have like this dash downwards. I can also, if I press the buttons quick enough, do like a double dash or dash movement. You can kind of combine that with the dash down thing and then kind of maneuver midair. You can kind of cancel some of your skills with themselves. I forgot to mention that with the Second Awakening, you actually get a similar skill to the muscle shift on the striker classes that I have, which basically allows you to chain your skills together like that. So really nice, really fluid, I gotta say. So utilizing all of those in conjunction, the various dash attack, which this can be used for mobility and all that. Using all those together just makes this class very fluid and fast to play. A very good melee class, I gotta say, and like I've been saying, also pretty decent mid-range class as well. I'm gonna use our chain powder here, and you can see moving shot is normally not like that, but definitely is when you have chain powder. Chain powder is also, it's a temporary buff, lasts a few seconds, actually running out now, but it's again designed to buff up those 3 skills in particular. So, and using this chain here, and you can see she's kind of focused around burst. She doesn't like staying in one place for too long. A lot of her animations end pretty quickly. You can cancel them earlier if you want, which all makes it I love it when, or I hate it whenever there's a skill that channels for very long periods of time and then kind of forces you. Here's how the normal moving shot looks. Not nearly as effective, obviously, but as if you have the chain powder up. But I hate it whenever skills have long animations and then you gotta sit through and watch animations. This class has a few skills that are like that, like the moving shot, gun dance, but you can cancel them all early relatively just by pressing the jump key, and you can cancel it, make it safe so that you're not standing in the middle of attacks while you're super armoring through people. So kind of love that you can cancel anything early, and if you don't want to get punished. I know there's actually a lot of other classes that I play that will get punished just because you're using a channeling skill at an inopportune time and you can't cancel it. So you're using a little bit of my movement here, which is kind of spammable, honestly. So you can see you can also chain that into like some aerial combos as well. So really nice. So like I said, I really regret not making this class sooner, and it really does kind of play with my, gel with my playstyle, honestly, of classes that I like, generally like, getting in people's faces. This class can do that. Now, the last thing that I think separates this class from the male counterpart, because I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a passive that works like that, so I'm gonna cancel there. His or her bleeding, her chain kind of blades also give her a secondary effect, which gives her bonus damage if there are enemies nearby that are bleeding. And basically, any of your physical classes or physical skills, like your kick skills, all of them will cause a bleed. Your chain snatch skills, all of these skills that use the chain, or your physical skills that don't use the bullets, will actually cause a bleeding effect. So, gotta remember to keep turning on my silver bullets here. So yeah, if your enemy is bleeding nearby, you just get extra damage, and obviously you can tell that this kind of effect will stack on itself. It's really, really, really useful. And it basically means that you can't just play one way. You can't just decide, okay, I'm only going to use gun skills now, or I'm only going to use the kick skills. Or, most of your damage comes off the gun skills, but then again, you want to make sure that you kind of interweave some of your physical skills in there too, just so that you can get some enemies bleeding and get that kind of proc of the bleed off. And you can see it's very easy to do. You do the Second Awakening, get a lot of stacks of that, and so it's not hard to do. You just got to make sure to remember to do it. So as we are, I think I do have the chain. There you go. You can see I am melting my bullets, man. So the silver bullets actually gives a bunch of extra damage. So really nice to turn that on. So here. Now the headshot is also another thing, coming back to the gear point. The headshot, or sorry, the death by revolver is a passive that both the female and the male rangers get. And it's a passive that gives you tons of crit damage, and really that is the focus of the ranger class actually, in terms of just gearing, not just the kit and stuff, but in terms of gearing actually, you'll want to try to get as much crit as possible. Crit is probably one of your most primary stats, and this goes for most classes, but this class in particular especially, you'll want to try to get crit as much as possible because you actually get a humongous crit damage bonus. And this also kind of compounds on the fact that you're not as strong as it is, but you want to capitalize on the one steroid buff you have, and that really focuses on the crit damage. Now that means stacking that one death by revolver skill as however which way you can, getting various epics or whatever swap sets to kind of get your death by revolver up. But then also, getting a high piercing rate, and this is piercing rate would be the reinforcement rate. you Rangers, you'll always hear the poster boy for reinforcing is going to be the male and female Rangers because they get so much benefits off of. If I didn't get interrupted there, I can turn it around. But, you're going to see that this class really benefits a whole bunch off of, you know, reinforcing, getting that piercing damage. So, you get a different alternate effect right there. Really cool one. If you get everybody caught into a grab right there, you can do a small little AoE, which is nice. Really convenient skill when people are surrounding you. Got a little bit of super armor. Got abusive super armor with a lot of your moves, at least in PvE. And in PvP, let's be honest here, I always get fucked by these classes. Anyway, so yeah, you know, stacking a lot of piercing damage is probably the most important thing on this class, because again, the damage is not there yet. But the thing is, the thing about this classes like this is they get exponentially stronger, right? Initially, maybe they're really hard, but if you really like this kind of gameplay with this Ranger, which, you know, I enjoy it, it's fun. Not a big fan of guns, but even yet, you know, still enjoyable because of the physical skills. But anyway, if you're looking for a class like this, the thing about classes like this is they have amazing growth. You know, they're the kind of classes, and shouldn't have used moving shot. Here you can see it, turn it around, that win, pretty cool. If you really enjoy a class like this, is what I'm getting at, you will have a blast gearing characters like this out, because when you get to certain points, you will get exponentially stronger, you know, as you continue getting gear. So, you know, I can't say this for a lot of classes, you know. Obviously, my Elven Knight is one of those classes too. Most of the physical type or percentage-based classes will be like that, right? When you get gear, they just get exponentially stronger. They just keep getting stronger. The same way with the Ranger, you know, your Death by Revolver passive just scales so well with you getting high piercing damage and all that. You're just going to be doing you know, tons and tons of damage as you keep getting more and more gear. And, you know, fixed damage classes sadly don't have this kind of effect to them. So, you know, it's just something to look forward to if you're really looking that far into the future, which if you're a beginner looking at these videos, just trying to get a feel for how the class plays, don't be considering about that too much. But if you're really getting into the class and you really enjoy it, just know that there's a lot of growth for this class in terms of gear and damage and, you know, reinforcing and stuff is so much more valuable in a class like this as opposed to, you know, a class like Azura or Chaos or something like that. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. There was a little bit of female Ranger. I really regret again not making it, but I'm happy I have it now. And it was kind of great to gear this class out. Now the last thing I gotta get is that Magic Stone. I think I'll be pretty content with how strong she is now. And yeah, that's all I got for tonight, guys. So anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you nights later.